listen.
me.
Hey,
I
look, check
disagree
this
with
out.
that.
Hey, check this out, man.
They
A
all
bitch,
have mixed
I
ways.
Man, all y'all, listen. Y'all know how they say toxic masculinity? There's a such thing as toxic femininity too. You dig what
ooh,
I'm saying? So you got all of these extra independent, just don't want a man. Just every time a man say something to them, that it affects them a certain way, and that I believe that comes from just like my temper, right?
okay,
Temper that I've worked so hard to kind of keep at bay and to
okay,
to keep myself cool. It
okay.
comes from I've learned a complex that I have from being small, good looking, and light skinned all my life. You know what I'm saying? Growing up on
Ooh,
Bankhead.
what's it called? Because my middle son got it. What's it called?
Yeah, I mean, what they call it, you know what I'm saying? They call it the short man complex. You know what I'm saying?
What? I just
But
told him he got Napoleon's complex. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. You did so that's a real thing, but it comes from the conditioning that comes from the environment that you in. Like
Mm.
for me, looking like this, being like how I am, I had to fight to show that I was smart in class. Every
Yeah,
time when the teacher called on me to read and I could read fluently, I had to go out to the playground and hold that up. You dig what I'm saying?
yeah,
So as I got older and got, what I mean, that shit just kind of it got into me. But
yeah,
as you get to be, you settle into your masculinity or into your position as a man. You understand that every situation don't call for the same amount of aggression. Now,
what?
as
No.
women, as women, women have that too because y'all be fighting for position in y'all whole life. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you grew up in a house and you got brothers and shit. You dig what I'm saying? You got to fight to be treated the same, to get the same kind of consideration, to get to be able to do the same thing. So you fight until you get to a place and you got to realize, okay, I've been fighting to get to this place, but now that I'm here, I ain't got to fight the person who I'm planning to spend the rest of my life with. I don't got to fight him. If he's saying something, it must be for the greater good of the both of us. So that is, I think, what she's saying as far as bitchiness and this, that, and the other. She don't want nobody to tell her shit. So if you know what I'm saying, somebody come tell her shit and it backed up with facts, that's bitchiness to her. You dig what I'm saying? But it's cool. I've accepted. But see, the thing about me, I've accepted the good and the bad. You understand?
Okay,
I've accepted her. I've accepted her.
okay, okay,
You did.
okay.
That's far from what I was trying to say, but it's okay. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but
Oh
I
my
actually
goodness.
really understood his point because I think I think you know people are surprised at how submissive I am and can be at home
Now that's something I
because
ain't heard about you now. Now that's one thing I ain't never heard
who
about
you talking to? That's the
you.
problem.
I ain't
Yeah,
talked to nobody.
tell the change these sheets. It's
I ain't
who
talked to
you
nobody.
talking to.
Have not spoken to anybody.
It's who you talking to. Listen, it's a lot of women in my position. When I remember having Romello. Romello was born right before Rock first album dropped. And I didn't take those 4 years off to try to be a boss. I took those 4 years off to try to be his mate and to try to be his support and to try to raise my kids. So I am wired different. Sometimes I miss the dollar for trying to create make the house a home. I do that. But my family is from Noonan, Georgia. My mama was the type of mama that she didn't really, now I haven't mastered this, but she doesn't really speak that far above a whisper. And everything is still a fact.
Mm.
And those are things that I work on now because when I look back over my relationships, the reason you never hear me talk bad about who I'm no longer with is because I still know that there are things about me that I'm bettering each day. And each time something doesn't work, I do a self-check. And that's why I stayed single so long this time because I wanted to do a self-check. This whole year has been about self-evaluating, self-meditation, self. So I could figure out, okay, were there places where maybe I contributed? Were there places, and that take a lot. It's not easy. But watching my mom, I always had a great example of it. A lot of women, we do fight a lot to get where we need to be, but we don't have great examples of what to do in a house or how to just love somebody. One thing I do, I love somebody without condition. That's something we grew up being talked to about and stuff. That's not stuff that everybody's being
I don't
talked to
think
about.
I don't believe in that. I don't believe that men have that luxury
Have what luxury?
of being loved unconditionally.
Yes, you do.
That's
You
not
have it
true.
you get it from your mothers.
No.
Men get it from their mothers.
Nah,
Like,
wait
oh,
a minute. Just wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Just hear me out, right?
My
Nah, I'm
pajama
good.
bottoms on. Oh yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah, I was saying. Now I was asking, what did the lovely Leia just produce for us to behold?
Come here, Lay. Your uncle say, what did you just produce? She has been filming us
Ah.
with a contraption that has a light on it. It's a whole, she's making her directorial debut.
You dig what I'm saying?
You're making a directorial debut for us.
Well, listen, just tell her, let me frame myself up for my close-up.
Oh,
man, get your boy out.
you get a whole spa your first time around.
So I was just saying that I was.
Can I read now?
You want to read to him?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll do that on your live. We'll create a read. She's gonna read you a book, but we'll do that on your live, and we'll get Eris to come in because I know you miss her. So we'll work on that.
So I was really just saying, right,
Yeah.
that women have the luxury of being loved unconditionally. Men, the love that comes from men come based on what these men can provide, what these men are bringing to the table.
Now you
And
know.
that ain't necessarily got to be financial. That ain't necessarily got to be materialistic. But if you have a man in your life and that man ain't doing nothing but sitting around every time you there, he's there, you ain't got the same love if there's no provisions there. Whereas a mom, if a mom is sitting there and she's there for you, you're gonna love her unconditionally.
Yeah, you can't compare. First of all,
That's so. Somebody
talking about
said
mom
young
and
dog.
dad. Yeah, if he talking about mom and dad, a mom, whether or not if she's still sitting there, she's probably still waiting on your food to be ready. You know.
Do you see this? Somebody said young Dolph. Now, let me tell you what's crazy. I just said yesterday I want him on this record of mine. That's so crazy. Anyway, I strongly disagree. I watched my mom.
Yeah.
Okay. There was no. I feel like knowing what unconditional love is starts at home. It starts at home first, right?
All the men in my family would love based on what they could provide.
No, but
that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. That could very well be his experience, though.
It got to be at least 40% of men out there the same way.
No, maybe. But what I was gonna say is, a man, if he has a good, if he had a you know, like a mother and a father, whatever, that mother is gonna love him to death because mothers and sons relationships are so tight most of the time that they get so much love that they like. When they get older, people are like, "Oh, he a mama's boy," because they've been loved so dearly. So it's not what you're saying. I disagree.
It's all right to disagree. I'm just
saying that could be
my perspective because based on my experiences.
That was your
other
experience.
People with different experiences, I understand how you can feel differently. But
now you know what my brother says? My brother says that he hadn't found. He's like, I know exactly what I'm looking for because I felt it before. Even though it's a different type of love, it's supposed to have that level of loyalty and it's supposed to be without condition, man. And I ain't found it. He be cool with that. You know, my brother, he the last one I know with no kids, happily by himself. And you know, when he pull up, he with that, you know, the woo woo. He about whatever. But he still is like, when I see how he interacts, not just with me, but even with my daughter, it's because of my mama loved him without condition. And we had a really trying childhood, you know, because we had a father that, you know, he was really about whatever. So we saw a lot really young. However, you know, in my stepfather, I got a chance to see, I had two examples of two completely different types of men. And when they say you typically end up dating your father, I did that. I did almost exactly that. Rock was my dad all over again in a lot of ways. And it's funny because they birthday a few days apart. Right.
You know what I'm saying? And she nurtured me as much as she, as much as she could when she wasn't being a nurse.
Right.
But I think that, I give you an example, right? I was 15 years old, man, running the streets, trapping, doing all kinds of stuff, getting suspended from school, going in and out of juvenile, just doing all kinds of stuff,
Right.
And she frowned upon my behavior, as she should have. You dig
Right.
what I'm saying? But she always told me, like, you ain't gonna be nothing but old outlaw. You just gonna be an old outlaw. You ain't gonna never do right. You ain't gonna, what she tell me, you ain't gonna do right walking or riding. But however, my uncle, Quint, he was doing 10 years in the feds, which is her youngest child. Quint's her youngest child. He was doing 10 years in the feds for some work. And he was the greatest thing ever known to man to her. He could do no wrong. So I'm doing a much smaller version of what he was doing, but I'm the outlaw and he's the angel. Why? Because he provided. He was the one rolling down the street with the first side by side refrigerator freezer.
Hold on.
Unit in the neighborhood.
Did you ask your grandmother why?
I wasn't man. I wouldn't.
Exactly.
Man,
so that was your perception of why. Let me say this. Let me give you another perspective on it. When people see me, by far my most difficult child is Romello Hill. Okay. He is extremely talented on the football field, the basketball court. He even introduced me to futsal, everything that you could think of, right? People call me about him when we go in places. He leaves his mark. He is just one of those ones. Lil Rock is Big Rock. He relaxed with his. He move in silence. He two different personalities, right? And I know that a lot of what he does, I see different because I see him and what his struggles are different.
Right.
It's almost like how you hard on King, but then you real like right in his corner too, which is sometimes not often depicted properly. But you know why? You see some of you in him, and whatever that is makes you hone into that differently. See, Quint, we don't know what her struggle was with him. Like I got one aunt, and
Quint with the baby.
Is that he was a baby? But look, I'm gonna tell you this about my aunt's baby. And I used to be like, why you let him do that? You know that ain't cool. She said, listen, he was the child I was homeless with. He was the child that when my boyfriend put his hands on me, he got him off me. He was the child that
everybody gonna tell it.
but speaking of like love without condition, she didn't really want to come to California and be in this wedding and sharing these moments because she didn't have you. And I know I was there when Zanique was born. I was there through all of that stuff. And guess what? I understood. Right. Because I've been there. That's not unconditional love, because it was still mansions awaiting. It was still trips being taken, but she didn't want to go nowhere. You know what she wanted to do? She wanted to be able to make sure she got your calls, make sure she made her visits, make sure so when she got to LA, I let her know, like, okay, well, listen, you don't come alone. Like, bring mama. You know I love your mama anyway. Bring mama, bring Precious. Let's bring the family and make sure you still feel like you surrounded with love, because the person you love the most is not here. Listen, we all got options. She don't want anything else but you. You don't want anything else.
I ain't
we all got options. That's the unconditional love, because money's all around us.
I fought with her a lot, but I already know, man. You know what I'm saying? This vibe here is one that can't be duplicated. I already know that. And, and she knows that about herself, too. Yeah. And I want to talk to, what is it, MTG Mag. They said the money doesn't matter. You're right, until you don't have it.
That's
The
not
money
true.
doesn't matter until you don't have it. But listen, everything you're saying is correct, Monica. I just did not know that that was what we consider unconditional love. Because even with my wife, it ain't on the conditions of me providing, because she could provide for herself.
Right.
However, and when I mean monetarily, however,
Right.
I have to provide a certain amount of, I guess, reciprocated loyalty and other shit that must be provided in order for that love to continue. And that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. You dig what I'm
Well,
saying? I mean, that's the way it is for everybody. Unconditional love is from mother to child.
but do you
Or
get my point about perspective too, though? Because like each relationship is what it is because of almost, I would have to say, the unseen, the unknown. You know, like for somebody to say, well, why did she love him so hard? Why did she go so hard for him? There was no money there. There was like what were they trying to give? About 47 years or something crazy? There was no money there. And I didn't go anywhere. And I still say that I had children there. What I'm saying is that there's a lot of unseen that creates that. It created it for your grandmother. It created it for mine. It created